Hello, I'm Brandon House, and welcome to the Straightway TV with your host, Usama Dakdoc. Usama, welcome to the inaugural program.
Absolutely.
Of your own show.
Hey, it's a miracle. Praise God.
We're excited to have you with your own television program on the Worldview Weekend Television Network.
And it is my honor, Brother Brandon, to have you with me in this broadcast because I believe we can shake America about whatever coming out of these programs.
Well, not only America, but you know, we find that with our apps and iPhones and iPads and Androids and Roku and Apple TV, we find we have people watching all over the world. We have had a study done of tracking some of our programs, and in a given month, we have people in 120 nations watching. So not only here in America, but folks are watching in Great Britain. I know of one guy that calls in regularly to our program named Robert,
yes,
who calls in live from England. So we have people watching all over the world.
But I believe because of the topic we'll be talking about, I think it's too far for Europe to be fixed. It's too late for Europe to be fixed. It is. So my hope, my prayer is through this broadcast, we can wake up America. At least we can learn from the mistakes which has been taking place for years in Europe. So
wow. Well, what are we going to talk about in this first inaugural program?
Lies in the textbooks. I believe it's a very important topic, and sadly, not too many churches are opening this topic for two reasons. Number one, they do not know about it. Number two, they do not know how to fix it.
Right.
So we have a problem. Our children today in our public schools, beginning from kindergarten all the way to high school, we used to lose our children after they finish high school and go to college. Now we're sending them to college lost because we allow the Muslim to teach our children in our public schools all what they wish. At the same time, we, the Christian, cannot teach our children what we would love to teach them about all these different lies we're going to be talking about in this broadcast. And I believe it's very important, Brother Brandon, to know about these are the future of America. I'm not surprised today, as we're going to see some of the slides concerning Israel, that we have thousands of American, the younger generation, rising up, standing up, protesting Israel in many cities, big cities all over America. There was one just big one in Chicago where we have 3,000 Palestinians and 4,000 or 5,000 Americans joining them to protest Israel. Why do you think the Americans are standing against Israel? It's because they have learned nothing but lies about Israel, and that's the result of it.
So that's what we're going to talk about in this first program is the Islamic lies in America's textbooks related to Israel.
Yes, we have actually 3 lies. I don't think we'll be able to finish them in the first broadcast, but we'll continue on carrying this topic. But before we even get to this, Brother Brandon, I would like to talk about the dangers of lie. And sometimes people say, well, it's a small lie. It's not a big deal. I mean, but people have to understand that these lies we have today in our public schools will not continue to be the same size. It is similar to evolution. Evolution, 40-some years ago, when they start teaching evolution in our public schools, they did not say the science of evolution, or they did not attack the Bible directly, say the Bible is proven wrong now because we have the proof of evolution. But literally, they started with small lies, and they say the theory of evolution. And if you say it's a theory, that means it's just something you think about. It's something out there. There's no truth in it.
And you're saying theory.
Theory. I say my TH and my SS are a little mixed together.
It sounded like Siri.
No, theory. The theory. So people look at this. Well, the church did not say anything about it because, after all, it's a theory.
Right.
Big deal. Let people think whatever they want to think. But the evolution, which is started as the theory, today we have it in our public school as a science. Not because they have proven it, no, but because the lie got bigger and bigger. And now the atheists and those, the ungodly who do not believe there is a God, went all the way with all their might, with all their muscles, to tell our children that the Genesis account is not true. And creation is a lie. And we are animals. We evolve after this millions of years. Even though until today they have not proven one of these theories, thoughts, which he obviously been teaching for years. So I have something to share with our people about lie. This is a famous man. His name is Joseph Goebbels, and he is the propaganda minister under Adolf Hitler. Will you share with our audience about what Joseph Goebbels said about lying?
Yes, this is Hitler's propaganda minister.
Absolutely.
Here's what he said. If you tell a lie big enough and keep repeating it, people will eventually come to believe it. The truth is the mortal enemy of the lie.
So here's the catch. Not a big lie. It's a small lie. Big enough. And the idea is you have to keep repeating it. And if you look at what is written in our textbooks to our children, they have the same lie repeated so many times. So obviously, we're not going to repeat all these lies, but we'll give our audience an idea what is the lies, and maybe we'll repeat it a few times. But if you imagine as children go to public school, learning one lie, and they keep listening or they keep hearing this lie repeated 1 year after 1 year, by the time they finish high school, they believe it. And the size of the lie is a very important fact, because if you tell the children a big lie, they will figure out it's a lie. It's like a rat. You cannot kill a rat by giving a bag of poison. You kill a rat by giving them good food. As a matter of fact, if you look at the ingredients in any box of poison food for rat, for example, you see 99.5 or 99.6 good food, corn, wheat. Who will say anything any dangers can come out of this box?
Because if it's pure poison, the rat won't eat it.
Absolutely.
But if you mix it with food with a little poison, it'll eat it.
0.4 or 0.5 poison in this big box, the rat will eat it and he does not know it. So, small lie, you keep repeating it, the children will believe it. And children are this soft, tender heart. They believe anything you will teach them, especially when you think about, I listen to the parents, how much they complain about their children are not studying hard. So the parents are forcing the children to study this material, to give them the A's, not knowing that what they're studying in these textbooks is a lie. Right. So the parents are forcing our children to learn the lie, and the teacher are teaching this lie, and obviously the end was we're going to have a generation coming in America are destroyed by these lies, which Muslims are proudly put. And by the way, they're spending millions of dollars to put these lies all over our textbooks. This is a fact number one, that it's a small lies, but it's repeated so many times, and our children obviously believe it. Now, maybe we'll say, Brother Usama, Muslims do not lie. You know, as a matter of fact, we have attacked by a minister in Bagley, Minnesota, who sent this message to many churches all over America.
In Minnesota?
From Minnesota. He's from Minnesota. But he go to my website and found out where I'm speaking.
He's a pastor?
A pastor, a Lutheran pastor.
A Lutheran pastor is attacking you.
Attacking me, absolutely, all over the country. He actually send text messages or emails to the churches, which he knows I'm going to be speaking in, to tell them, how dare you have Usama in your church?
Because he doesn't like what you're saying about Islam. And he's a Lutheran pastor.
He's actually a member of CARE, Council on American Islamic Relations. He is a Muslim pastor, Lutheran. I mean, how he makes. By the way, he's a gay and lesbian too, gay and lesbian supporter. But that's not the issue. But he's telling them that Usama is not a very good person to have in your church, because Usama teach that Muslims lie. And I said, does this man ever heard what I said about lying? I'm not making this up, Brother Brennan. I say when Muslim moves their lips, most likely they're lying. Whatever they write down, most likely it's a lie. And it's like, unless they may be talking about they drink a cup of coffee, but if they're teaching anything about Islam, if they're teaching anything about Allah, Muhammad, or the Quran, it is 100% or very close to it to be a lie. And he's saying it is funny because I'm making comedy in the church mocking Muslims. No, Brother Brennan, we do not mock Muslims. We love Muslims. We mock Islam. And as you're going to see in the next three statement coming up here, 2 verses from the Quran, where we learn for sure that Allah gives the Muslims the right to lie, to deny their faith. The most honorable thing for a man is to keep his faith. And Muslims are given permission by Allah to deny their faith. So the man will be 100% Muslim, and he will come to you and say, I'm a Christian.
Or I'm a Lutheran.
Or whatever.
Or I'm a Baptist.
Whatever in the name he bought himself. Or Allah in the Quran teaching the Muslim that it's okay to raise the right hand to give an oath. But they're lying too. You can lie as you give your oath. And then we're going to see Muhammad teach the Muslim that they literally can lie to everyone all the time. Well, Brother Brandon, would you start for us by reading to us what is written in Quran chapter 16 and verse 106?
Absolutely. Here's what it says. Whoever becomes an infidel in Allah after he believed, except one who was compelled and his heart is secure in faith, but whoever opens his chest to the infidelity, the wrath of Allah will be on them, and they will have great torment.
So we have 2 different groups of people here. One will deny their faith, but their heart is secure if they are compelled. And the other group who will deny their faith because they left Islam. Now, those who will leave Islam, they will call them the apostate, must be put to death. And that's obviously proven for Quran chapter 6, verse 151. And in Sahih Muslim, as Muhammad declared that the blood of Muslim must be shed if he commit an apostate. He left Islam. But if the man is compelled, And that's the only way he can get to this job or have this position in some company, to deny his faith. That is very acceptable in Islam.
So how does Islam, or how the followers of Islam, know not to kill him? How do they know if he is just being stealth in order to infiltrate?
Will it benefit the Ummah? Will it benefit the nation of Islam? I'll give you a good example. When Barack Hussein Obama came to America 6 years ago, or when he started campaigning 7 years ago, and he told the American people, I'm a Christian. Do you think Muslims worldwide know this will benefit them?
Sure.
Absolutely. So he said, I'm a Christian, and it's the only way. He's compelled now. I can only imagine 7 years after September 11, Obama coming to the American people and say, I'm a good Muslim, vote for me. For sure, he will not have the job. But since he is compelled to have the job to be a Christian, and this is a long history, for years, he was prepare himself, and people also preparing him to get this job, to get this position. So he actually wrote in his book, he said, to further my work as a community organizer, I joined Jeremiah, right? Church, Trinity Church of Christ. So he did not say to worship Christ or to grow to know Christ or to grow in my Christian faith. No, to further my work as a community organizer. So this is not like last 6 years ago, 7 years ago, this Obama decided, you know what, I'd like to be a president. No, this is his plan for years. So he knows how hard and how difficult it was for Kennedy to be a president because he was
Catholic.
That's all. I mean, he's not a Muslim. He's a guy. He's a Catholic. But so figure it out. I'm going to be a president. I might as well join a church because it will help me out in the future. So was he a Muslim? Yes. Is he still a Muslim? Yes. To the Muslim, he is. For a good reason, a good proof is that no, not even one person issue a fatwa to kill Barack Hussein Obama. The fatwa is a decree given by Muslim to any and everyone who leave Islam. But Obama never got this one. And it's a different
So the
topic.
Muslims don't threaten him because they know he's a Muslim.
He actually told them that. He told them, I'm one of you. And he has proven this in action the last 6 years.
You have all this documented, all these different clips and quotes and videos.
We have this full presentation called Freedom of Surrender, and we will shoot it again, you and I, on this TV, so people know it again.
We'll do that whole program again.
Of course, we're not making this up.
And of course, Obama's talked about how he has grew up loving the call to prayer 5 times a day. He slipped up and said to George Stephanopoulos, my Muslim faith.
There's plenty of evidence. We got enough videos. We're going to be talking about that.
He admits he was raised in what is it?
And he was grown up in, first he was born in Kenya, as we all know that, but he will deny it. And then he lived in Indonesia for 4 years.
Went to a madrasa?
A madrasa is a Catholic school, but he was attended this Catholic school for 4 years as a Muslim student.
Written on his card, he was a Muslim student.
Because you cannot in a Catholic school have a person who believes in Islam attend 1 hour of the Christian teaching. But Muslims attend the Christian Muslim, and the Christian attend the Christian teaching. So we will get to this if the Lord is willing in the future. But what we learn from Quran chapter 16 verse 106 that Muslim can deny their faith if they are compelled. Do you know how many millions of Christians has been killed in the last 1400 years because simply they refuse to deny their faith?
In the last 1400 years, lots of Christians murdered, slaughtered.
As a matter of fact, just the last 2 years, we have ISIS have already beheaded thousands of Christians simply because they refuse to say the Shahada. And in Islam, it's okay to say, I'm a Christian. It's okay to deny you're a Muslim if you are compelled. Another very important verse, which is the verse we learned from in the Quran, that it's lawful for Muslim to lie in their swearing. And Brother Brandon, this is very dangerous. Why do I say this is very dangerous? Because if you know that all these Muslims who are becoming American are not given a true oath. Yes, they raise their right hand before some judge in some court in America. Yes, they're repeating after the judge whatever words he wants them to say. And we clap hand to them and we welcome them to America. Now they're American citizens. But if our legislators, if those who are in charge, if our judges know that in Islam, in the Quran chapter 2 and verse 225, it is lawful for Muslim to lie as he given an oath. This would change everything in America. Would you please read to our people what is written in Quran chapter 2 and verse 225?
Yes, here's what it says. Allah will not hold you responsible for your mere utterance in an oath, but he will hold you responsible for that which your hearts gained, or what your heart meant. And Allah is forgiving, forbearing.
Normally, all over the Quran, when you see Allah is forgiven, forbearing, Allah is forgiven, merciful, that means there is a sin before it. So what is the sin here?
Lying.
That Muslim will lie as they give an oath. Brother Brandon, this country with the political correctness are doing one thing. They're digging graves by their own hand. We American people are digging graves by our own hand because of political correctness to bury our grandchildren alive. That's exactly what we're doing. So we are bringing Muslims to America from all over the world, and we make them stand up in some court, raise their hand, and give some oath. They say some word. Many of them do not even know what they're saying since you don't speak that good English, and they become a citizen. Now we need to understand that in Islam, Muslim oath is number 1 given to Allah. Number 2 is given to Muhammad. Number 3 is given to the Muslim nation, to Islam in general. Number 4, it is the Muslim country where the person come from. Number 5, it is a Muslim country, the oath is given, or the allegiance given to the Muslim country, which they are neighboring with and friend with. Number 6, the Muslim country they're neighboring with, they're enemy with. I mean, like if I'm Iraqi, I give an oath to Allah, to Muhammad, to Islam, to Iraq, and then to Iran, who is my enemy. If I'm a Sunni Iraqi and I hate the Iran as Irani, I will give an oath to Irani before I give it to America or any of the other enemies. And if we know what Allah and Muhammad taught the Muslim, that will be enough to know for sure that none, and I say it again, none of these Muslims who are given an oath in any of our courts of law, in any of our places, mean what they say when they're oath. And I give you a good evidence of that.
How about Keith Ellis?
The congressman who swear on the Quran, which teach him to lie. That's what we have here.
U.S. Congressman from Minnesota, taking an oath to the Constitution.
In the 5th District, to be exactly where he's from.
And he's taking an oath to the U.S. Constitution, but what you're saying is you believe he is doing exactly what we're studying.
He's lying.
But he is an admitted Muslim, correct?
Absolutely. Everybody knows it. And Nancy Pelosi,
I mean, it's not something we're throwing out there. He is a admitted Muslim.
Everybody knows. He actually is bragging about teaching the Quran in our public schools. He's teaching, we have enough, his own videos, sound bites, and everything that you should scratch your head 3 times. How in the world we allow such a man to be a congressman in America? It's a crime. We're committing one crime after crime because of political correctness. And if I give you a good example, why do I say Muslim, saying this oath mean nothing? In New York Times Square, there was a gentleman by the name Shazat, as Eric Holder called him, Mr. Shazat. This is the guy who tried to put a big bomb there, if you remember the story.
In Times Square.
In Times Square. And he stood before the judge, and the judge lady asked him, didn't you become a citizen just last year? Didn't you give an oath? His answer was shocking. And I don't think anybody in America would love even to hear it. And no, not one media will put it out. He said, I said it, but I did not mean it. Did you hear what he said? That's exactly what Allah meant here. Did you mean it in your heart? No, it's okay. You can lie. You give an oath and lie. As long as your heart is secure in faith, as long as you didn't mean it in your heart. Now, the next one, Brother Brandon, it will shock the bones out of the American people. Why is that? Because it is direct quotation from Muhammad, the claimed prophet of Islam. And he's telling us something about lie. I don't think really Muslims who say it understood it. They think it's okay. You're not lying all the time, because Muhammad did not say it is lawful to lie all the time. But Muhammad said it's lawful only to lie in 3 cases. Will you please read to our audience, what did Muhammad taught the Muslims about lying?
He said this, quote, it is lawful to lie in 3 cases. A man to his wife that she will be pleased with him, or at a time of war, because war is deception, or to make peace between people, end quote. Or to make peace between people. Isn't that interesting?
Yes, and there's so much we're going to talk about peace in Islam when we get into other lies as we continue in our study. But it is lawful to lie only in 3 cases. Well, wait a minute. I thought Muslims say they believe in Moses. I thought Muslims believe in the Torah. One of the 10 commandments of the Torah is, thou shalt not lie.
That's in the Torah.
And they say they believe in Moses and in his teachings. So how can Muslims believe in teachings of Moses if Muhammad said it is lawful to lie? Number 1. Number 2, Muslims claim they believe in the gospel. They believe in the New Testament. Revelation 21:8 said what? That liars will burn in hell. There's no joke about it. So the Old Testament and the New Testament condemn lying and send those who lie, of course, without Christ, to hell forever. But Muhammad is telling us it is lawful to lie. This alone put a big question mark for every Muslim saying, wait a minute, how can Muhammad teach us that he believes in the Bible, Old Testament, New Testament, but at the same time, he goes against the teaching of the Bible concerning lying? But if you study carefully, what is these 3 cases? Number 1, a man to his wife that she will be pleased with him. Can you imagine every Muslim lady who have a Muslim believer husband, they know that their husband lied to them. And they say, well, as long as I feel good about it, there's no big deal. Okay, that's a personal relationship, a man to his wife. To the enemy, because war is deception. And if you know in Islam that every non-Muslim is an enemy to the Muslim, that means Muslim have the right to lie to every unbeliever, every infidel, every kafir. That's what the Quran says. Number 3, it is lawful to lie to make peace between people. And obviously, peace and the deception of peace. When I'm weak, I'm going to make peace with you. Quran chapter 47, verse 35. But when I become strong, you can kiss this peace goodbye. But the conclusion is this. You lie to your wife, you lie to your enemies, and you lie to your friends. Wait a minute. Anybody else? I think that covers them all.
Yeah.
In Islam, it is lawful to lie all the time to everyone. Enemy, wife, friends. That's a problem. That's a problem. And people think I joke when I make my punch. How do I know Muslim lying? Oh, when their lips move, ha ha ha, and people will be funny. That's not a joke. We're serious talking. That America need to understand, talking to Muslim with the naive heart which we have is a big problem, because we believe people, we trust people. We as a nation we just think everybody knows the truth. White person will lie. If he's a Muslim, he says a Muslim. I'm a Muslim. If he's a Christian, he says I'm a Christian. But we do not understand that it's okay to deny your faith. It's okay to lie in your oath, giving an oath, and it's okay to lie to everyone all the time.
Now, Usama, before we continue and pick up here, we only have a few minutes left in this first program, and this is the inaugural program of the Straightway TV.
Thank you.
With your host, Usama Daktok, here in our Memphis, Tennessee studios, here at Worldview Weekend Television, and Worldview Weekend Network. Usama, how can folks get a hold of your ministry, get resources from your ministry? What resources do you have available? What's your website, and what are those resources?
Our website is thestraightway.org. The is a T-H-E.
Okay.
Here we go. My T-H. Thestraightway.org. You know, it's very hard to spell. If I spell the, people laugh. If I spell the, people laugh. I don't know. How in the world are you going to say that? Well, anyway, that's straightway.org. And we have two very important books. The first book is the Quran, which we have worked so hard for 4 years to translate it accurately, and we're going to be talking about it later.
And just for folks to understand, there are 18 English translations of the Quran,
actually,
right?
29.
29 now.
Yes, indeed.
And,
yes, indeed.
And those have been whitewashed, right?
Whitewashed, sugar-coated, cleaned up, and we're going to prove this in a future program. We're going to talk me and you about revealing the truth about the Quran, and we're going to show samples, many samples all over the Quran as how Muslims cleaned up the Quran. To the point, literally, when you read my Quran, you think it does not make any sense, because I do not add words to help Muhammad with his Arabic.
And so,
and then I do not correct any of the mistakes he have in the Arabic. When you read my English, it's literally you read in the Arabic.
Okay, so your English translation of the Quran is word for word from the Arabic. So it's the only, you're telling me it's the only accurately consistent word for word translation of the Quran in English. All the rest have been cleaned up.
Start with the cover. Do you know that not one of the 29 English translations puts the right title in their book? They call it the Holy Quran, the Glorious Quran, the Noble Quran, whatever name for Quran. Not one of them put the real accurate name, the Generous Quran.
The Generous Quran.
The word Kareem in Arabic means generous. So they lie on the cover. So I don't know how much you think you're going to be lying through the books. We're going to point to many of these errors in the Quran.
But so they can get that English translation that you worked on with your team for 4 years at thestraightway.org.
Also, they can get our new book, Exposing the Truth About the Quran. You will see in our broadcast here in the future as well. We're going to be talking about all these prophets, which is Muhammad mentions their names in the Quran. So he talked about creation. Is the creation of the Quran is the same creation of the Bible? No, it's not. Talking about Adam. Is Adam of the Quran is the same Adam of the Bible? No, he is not. Noah, Abraham, Moses, David, Solomon, Joseph. I mean, all these different biblical characters. And when American hears these names in the Quran, they assume, wait a minute, that's the same what we have in the Bible. And so many of these liberal ministers, they will tell you the Quran and the Bible are the same. It's one God, it's the same prophets, and we worship the God of Abraham and Jacob and Moses and all these wonderful prophets. No, as we go through all these errors, or all these contradictions what Muhammad wrote in the Quran, compared to the Bible with all these biblical names, we find out that the Quran is a dumb counterfeit to the Bible. Not one account in the Bible written in the Quran is accurate. All of them, all these stories has been changed and corrupted in many ways. Not only by the way the Quran contradicts the Bible, the Quran contradicts the Quran. I will share with you and with our audience all these mistakes about Moses in one chapter and Moses another chapter in the Quran. It's not the same Moses. They're two different Moses. So that's a very important source. And then we have lots of DVDs on different topics. People can always get these DVDs and study it and share it with others.
And then they can find out how to book you to come in and speak at their church or their tea party or their Christian school or their Bible study or whatever.
Absolutely. We are always, as we advertise it, we are one call away, and we mean it. If a church call me next week and I'm not speaking, I will be there. And we're run out of time, Brother Brandon. Literally, there is only a few hours left. I do not know what's going to happen to our ministry. I do not know what's going to happen to me next year. Perhaps there will be a law in America, like as a hate speech law, which they put in Canada. And by the way, is removed from Canada. Now I go to Canada. Now I speak in Canada. I was in Canada this year 3 times. And we're going back again in November.
They removed the law there?
Oh, yes. They imply the laws that you cannot speak against Islam. But now they remove it that now we can go and speak the truth.
Because they realize how big a threat Islam is?
The biggest mistake. The biggest mistake is let the Muslim take over Canada. But sadly, this is the same
America
law.
hasn't learned from that.
No. And I believe deep in my heart, remember when Obama just became a senator, that's 8 years ago, he was just a baby senator. Him and Hillary Clinton and 22 other senators signed a bill, or not signed a bill, made up a bill, and they gave to George W. Bush, which is a hate crime bill, a hate crime speech bill. And George W. Bush, and that's one thing I give him credit for, vetoed twice. But amazingly, the last 6 years since Obama became a president, he never brought this bill to be signed and to be a law. And I'm expecting after midterm election, he will do that. And he will do that for the purpose of appeasing the Muslim and pleasing the Muslim, that we will not say anything to harm them and make them feel bad. Because maybe if we love them more, if we give them the rest of the country, maybe they will like us, maybe they will love us, and maybe they will not harm us. And that's a big problem. But there's so much to learn, and I'm very excited about having this broadcast for all the wonderful people. And I hope and I pray that everyone who watch these broadcasts, Brother Brandon, will share it with others. I don't think this need to be in secret. I don't think this need to be under the table. If any of our wonderful audience are watching this broadcast, you have to tell it to everybody in your church, people you work with, people in your community, family, relative, far away. We need to give this program big circle because we run out of time. People need to know the truth before it's too late.
And folks need to know that you're not a former Muslim. They always think you are. You were born and raised in Egypt, but your dad was a Baptist pastor that planted churches. You were never been a Muslim. People assume that, but you were not. You're just an Egyptian Christian.
Two problems I have with most of the churches I speak in. They call me Obama, not Usama. My name is Usama, not Obama. And many of them, even when I do TV broadcasts and people invite me to speak, they always introduce ex-Muslim. I said, I was never a Muslim. I grew up in a Christian home and I praise God for that. But I also learned Islam in our public schools all the way in college. I got 2 years in college to study Sharia, Islamic law. And boy, oh boy, that's what opened my eyes. Literally, everything we study about Islam in school was soft, simple things. But when I started studying Sharia, I could not believe, to the point that Muslims in these classes were arguing with our professors. We have stories to tell in the future about how I was able to defeat the professor. In the same time, all the Muslim students could not, about different things in the law, in the Islamic law. So much to cover, and I look forward to do that.
Okay, so we're just now getting to the introduction of the lies about Israel and Jerusalem. So we've just laid down some introduction.
Yes,
and
indeed.
Hopefully by the next program we'll start getting to the first lie.
We will, if the Lord is willing.
All right.
We just need prayer, and we'll see what the Lord's going to do.
All right. Well, as you can see, we're not rushing. We're going to take it slow and cover this and find it to be a very in-depth study. I hope you appreciate Usama and his courage to speak out as he is at great risk to himself and his family. I hope you appreciate the fact that we here at Worldview Weekend and Worldview Weekend Networks are sponsoring his program because this is the thing that needs to get out. This is one of the 6 main worldviews ruling the world. There are more than 6 worldviews, but this is one of the 6 main worldviews that rule the world, Islam. And we look forward to producing many programs with you, Usama, as the Lord allows. with this new program, The Straightway TV.
And I would like to thank you for allowing me and helping me to do this broadcast. Without you, I'll be talking in a small circle. Now we're talking to a bigger circle. So I praise God for Worldview Weekend and for your ministry and for your courage, because let me say it again. Not too many people would love to sit next to me to talk about these issues. There's a lot of churches who will not even have us because we are causing trouble here. You know, we're shaking the boat. People want the boat to go smooth and everything will be fine. It will be less headache for you not to have me. But I appreciate God for your boldness and for your courage and being willing to sit next to me to produce this material to the people.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Brandon.
All right, folks, we look forward to the next installment of The Straightway TV with your host, Usama Dakdak. Till then, I'm Brandon House with Usama Dakdak. Take care.